Welcome back to Tales in the Day by NK. Finding the courage to confront her own flaws. Only then could they begin to heal and rebuild their lives. The weight of deceit. Once upon a time in a small town in Owerri, Nigeria, a woman named Ada was known for her troubled nature. She was a master weaver of lies, often entrapping herself in her own deceit. Her husband, Emeka, a hardworking man, struggled to provide for their 5 children, but Ada was never satisfied. Ada's discontentment was a heavy burden on her family. She would often complain about the lack of food, clothes, and other necessities, even when Emeka provided for their basic needs. Her dissatisfaction comes from her insatiable desire for material possessions and her tendency to compare herself to others. As the years went by, Ada's lies became more frequent and elaborate. She would fabricate stories about her past, her relationships, and even her children's achievements. Her family grew tired of her deceit, but Ada couldn't seem to stop herself. If you are still here, that means the story interests you. Kindly like, share and comment your views. One day, a neighbor confronted Ada about her lies. "Ada, we all know you're not telling the truth," the neighbor said gently. "Why do you feel the need to lie so much?" Ada's response was shocking. "I don't know I lie," she said with a shrug. The neighbor was shocked by Ada's nonchalance. It was clear that Ada had become so comfortable with lying that she no longer recognized the harm it caused. Emeka, who had been watching the exchange, felt a deep sadness wash over him. He had tried to address Ada's behavior many times, but she refused to listen. As the days turned into weeks, Ada's behavior continued to deteriorate. She began to fight with her neighbors, accusing them of spreading rumors about her. Her children grew fearful of their mother's outbursts, and Emeka felt helpless in the face of Ada's turmoil. One evening, as the family sat down to dinner, Ada's eldest daughter, Grace, approached her mother. "Mama, why do you lie so much?" Grace asked, her voice trembling. Ada's response was a mixture of anger and defensiveness, but Grace stood her ground. "Mama, we love you, but we can't keep living like this," Grace said. "We need you to be honest with us, to be truthful about who you are and what you want." Ada looked at her daughter, and for a moment, Emeka thought he saw a glimmer of recognition in her eyes. But the moment passed, and Ada's mask slipped back into place. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, her voice cold. Emeka sighed, feeling the weight of Ada's deceit bearing down on their family once again. Ada, in a very calm tone, said, "I am going to tell you something sad about me. I have never mentioned it to your father. My mom was a very bad mother. My childhood was marred by poverty, neglect, and emotional abuse. My parents, struggling to make ends meet, oftentimes me and my siblings were left to fend for ourselves. My mother, in particular, was critical and dismissive, making me feel worthless and unloved. As a result, I grew up with a deep-seated need for validation and attention. I learned to manipulate those around me, using lies and charm to get what I wanted. This behavior became ingrained, a survival mechanism that helped her navigate the harsh realities of her childhood. The need for perfection drove Ada to compare herself to others, to covet what they had, and to feel inadequate when she couldn't measure up. Her lies and boasts were, in part, a way to convince herself and others that she was worthy, successful, and loved. As the night wore on, Emeka couldn't shake the feeling that their family was trapped in a web of Ada's childhood making. He prayed for the strength to guide his family through the turmoil, and for Ada to change from her terrible ways. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and comment. This is Tales in the Day by NK. Till I come your way again, bye.